The Galactic Conclave had never seen anything like it. Ambassador Vrail of the Tharkan Collective stood at the center of the observation deck, his 4 amber eyes scanning the encrypted transmission on the holographic display. The message was simple, direct, almost shockingly so. Humanity had agreed to allow a delegation of alien scientists aboard one of their military vessels for a cultural and technological exchange. The entire council chamber erupted into excited murmuring. "They actually said yes," whispered Dr. Silo, a Mirran xenobiologist whose pale blue tendrils curled with anticipation. "The humans. They said yes." Vrail nodded slowly, trying to suppress the excitement crawling beneath his scaled skin. For decades, the Galactic Conclave had attempted to study human military technology. Humanity was the youngest spacefaring race in the known galaxy, barely 400 years out from their first faster-than-light jump. Yet somehow, impossibly, they had fought the Kroth Empire to a standstill in less than 6 months. They had repelled the Void Swarm with a fleet 1/5 the size of the recommended defensive force. They had done things that defied every strategic model the Conclave possessed. And now, they were inviting them aboard. The delegation was assembled within 48 hours. The shuttle drifted out of warp and the delegation fell silent. Before them sat the UES Relentless, a human Titan-class warship. Even from 300 kilometers out, it dominated the viewport like a continent made of iron and fire. Its hull was scarred from a dozen battles, patches of new alloy welded over wounds that should have destroyed lesser ships. Weapons arrays jutted from its flanks like the ribs of some ancient predator. Running lights blinked in slow, rhythmic pulses, almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Silo pressed 4 of her tendrils against the viewport glass. "It's ugly," she whispered. "It's terrifying," Vrail corrected quietly. A voice crackled over the comm, warm, unhurried, distinctly human. "Conclave shuttle, this is Captain James Harrow of the UES Relentless. You are cleared for docking Bay 7. Welcome aboard." They docked without incident. The bay was enormous. Large enough to swallow their shuttle like a stone dropped into the ocean. Mechanics in heavy magnetic boots moved around towering machinery without looking up. Automated loaders stacked ammunition crates the size of Mirran dwelling pods with casual efficiency. Captain James Harrow met them at the bay entrance. He was a tall man, mid-50s, with a jaw like a geological formation and eyes the color of a winter sky. He wore no ceremonial armor, no diplomatic sash. Just a worn duty uniform with 3 silver stars on the collar. He extended a single hand. "Ambassador Vrail. Glad you could make it." Harrow walked them through the ship like a man walking through his own home. He spoke casually, almost boringly, about the Relentless as though describing a family vehicle rather than the most terrifying weapons platform the delegation had ever stood inside. He pointed out the primary rail cannon batteries, capable of accelerating a tungsten slug to 12% the speed of light. He mentioned, almost as an afterthought, that the ship carried enough nuclear warheads to render 3 planets uninhabitable. Vrail's translator bead struggled to keep pace with the technical terminology. Dr. Silo had stopped taking notes entirely and was simply staring. "This corridor," Harrow said, gesturing left, "leads to the damage control center. After the Battle of Kepler's Gate, we lost 3 decks to a plasma breach. My crew sealed the hull from the inside using emergency foam and manual clamps while the ship was still under fire." He paused, then added, "Lost 11 people doing it. Good crew." He said it the way a soldier says things, flat, factual, carrying the full weight of the words inside the silence that followed them. The delegation exchanged uneasy glances. Nothing could have prepared them for the engine room. It was the size of a small city district, filled with the bone-deep hum of controlled fusion reactions. 4 reactor cores, each one taller than a Tharkan temple, burned at the heart of the ship, contained by magnetic fields so powerful they bent the light around them. "Those 4 cores," Harrow said, "power everything. Weapons, shields, life support, propulsion. He glanced back at the delegation. If all four are destroyed simultaneously, the resulting explosion would be significant. How significant? Vrail managed. Harrow considered the question with the calm of a man checking a weather forecast. Roughly equivalent to a small star going nova. We call it the last argument. He almost smiled. Nobody's ever been stupid enough to test it. Dr. Silo made a sound that her translator rendered as a distressed chirp. What unsettled the delegation most was not the weapons. It was not the reactors, nor the ammunition stores, nor the walls of reinforced titanium alloy 3 meters thick. It was the crew. They were everywhere, 4,000 men and women moving through the relentless with calm, deliberate purpose. Some were laughing. A group of young engineers played cards on a crate of missile components. 2 soldiers argued cheerfully over a card game near the armory. A woman in a medic's uniform was teaching a younger crew member how to juggle. They were comfortable. Completely, utterly at ease, living their ordinary lives inside a machine built for the singular purpose of total annihilation. Vrail stopped walking. "Captain," he said carefully. "Your crew, they are not afraid." Harrow looked at him, genuinely puzzled. Afraid of what? Vrail gestured at the walls, the weapons, the reactors, all of it. Of this. Harrow was quiet for a moment. Then he looked at his crew, the card players, the laughing engineers, the juggling medic, and something moved behind his winter-gray eyes. Pride, perhaps. Or something older and harder than pride. "Ambassador," he said quietly, "these people have already survived things that would end civilizations. The ship doesn't scare them." He paused. "The ship is theirs." The shuttle departed 3 hours later. The delegation sat in complete silence for a long time, watching the relentless shrink in the viewport until it was just a dark silhouette against the stars, a shadow shaped like a warning. Finally, Dr. Silo spoke. "We made a mistake," she said softly. "Coming here?" asked Vrail. "No." She turned from the viewport. "Assuming we understood them." She looked back at the warship, now barely visible. "We thought studying their ship would show us why they win their battles. But the ship is not the answer." Vrail watched the relentless disappear into the dark. "The crew," he said. "The crew," she confirmed. Back aboard the relentless, Captain James Harrow stood alone on the observation bridge, hands clasped behind his back, watching the alien shuttle warp away. He was quiet for a long moment. Then his calm crackled. "Captain, we're receiving new orders from Fleet Command. Cross Border Skirmish, Sector 9. Harrow picked up his coffee. Took a slow sip. "Set a course," he said. "Let's go to work." In the halls of the Galactic Conclave, the delegation's official report was filed and sealed under the highest classification. The title, chosen by Ambassador Vrail himself, read simply: "Do not make enemies of humans."